First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Macie Goldfarb.
And I'm Brenna Delong. Thanks for joining us. The world is reacting to Russia's attack on Europe's largest nuclear plant in Ukraine. The plant is now stable but occupied by Russian forces. NBC's Alice Barr has the latest from Washington.
Diplomatic fallout today over a nuclear scare in Ukraine. Russian forces took control of Europe's largest nuclear power plant after attacking it last night, sparking a fire on the grounds and fears of a meltdown. President Biden today hosting the president of Finland, a European ally that borders Russia.
We agreed it's not only an attack on Ukraine, it's an attack on the security of Europe and on the global peace and stability.
The plant itself appears to be stable.
We don't see any evidence of any damage that would create a radiological or nuclear incident.
But the larger conflict has grown far more volatile.
By the grace of God, the world narrowly averted a nuclear catastrophe last night.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham drawing Russian outrage after suggesting someone in Russia should take out President Vladimir Putin. Putin saying today he has no bad intention toward neighboring countries, as he warned them against doing anything to escalate the situation. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken meeting with NATO allies in Brussels.
We seek no conflict, but if conflict comes to us, we're ready for it.
The NATO Secretary General ruling out a no-fly zone over Ukraine, which would mean NATO fighters shooting down Russian jets to enforce it.
We'll end up with something that could end in a full-fledged war in Europe, involving many more countries.
As his forces keep up the fight on their own, Ukraine's president today holding a moment of silence for the soldiers and the civilians killed, with countless others desperately trying to make it out alive. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
In the midst of chaos between Russia and Ukraine, the Biden administration will provide temporary protection status for Ukrainians. An estimated 30,000 Ukrainians who are living in the U.S. will be able to stay and work legally for 18 months. The Department of Homeland Security announced the measure on Thursday.
Visitors visas, tourist visas, student visa, work visas, and those expire at time certain. The president has the authority to extend those in what's called temporary protected status. We certainly don't want to push these visitors back into Ukraine at this moment in time.
TPS will only be granted to Ukrainians who were already in the U.S. as of March 1st.
And for more on today's developments, be sure to watch the PBS NewsHour at 7.
Immigration advocates have worked extensively to change local enforcement policies so that immigrant neighbors feel safe.
The Gainesville Police Department listens to their message and partners with the community to assist them. The GPD recently included a restricted English proficiency clause to its procedural standards for servicing people who don't speak English. It includes ensuring that people who don't speak the language have access to interpretation services. GPD also added a new suggestion to the department's policy on foreign nationals 40.3. Officers shall avoid asking questions about the citizenship status of victims and witnesses unless the investigation justifies it. Do you work for Amazon? If the question is yes, you could be eligible for free tuition at the University of Florida. Amazon announced its partnership with UF to fully cover tuition for company employees. Hourly workers in Florida will be able to enroll in one of 25 UF online bachelor's degrees. U.S. News current rankings show UF as having the #1 bachelor degree program in the nation. The Amazon program is set to launch in the fall.
Okay, I am loving the weather today. Talk about a perfect way to kick off spring break.
I hope it stays like this all week, but let's get to Zoey for more details.
I know I'm right there with you guys. I am loving the weather, absolutely clear skies, and I hope it's like this for the rest of the week, and it probably will be. But besides that, temperatures sitting in the mid-80s as of right now across campus, and we're having such beautiful weather because of this dry pocket of air really swooping in over the state over the past couple of hours, and that's why we saw no clouds in our skies. And with that, temperatures sitting a little bit warm for this time of year, still late winter, but nevertheless, temperatures sitting in the mid-80s, a little cooler in Jackson Jacksonville, and I'll have the rest of the forecast coming up later. Back to you guys.
An incredible fire broke out at a restaurant in St. Petersburg, Florida this morning. Heavy smoke was pouring out of the Tsunami Japanese steakhouse. It was so intense, firefighters had trouble entering some areas of the restaurant. They used a bucket truck to attack the fire from above. The cause has yet to be determined.
The 15-week abortion bill passed the Senate last night and is headed to the governor's desk. After a bitter debate, the Senate approved the bill on party lines, 23-15. The bill mirrors the Mississippi law, which is before the Supreme Court. Activists on both sides are waiting for the ruling, which could come in a few months.
It's been a long fight. 49 years now we've been attempting to overturn Roe versus Wade, and it looks like we might be on the, on the way to doing that.
Of young people that don't know what it's like to not have a right to their bodily autonomy, right? To have their reproductive rights taken away.
Governor Ron DeSantis has previously expressed support for moving the limit from 24 weeks to 15 weeks.
The Supreme Court has restored the death sentence for Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, one of the two brothers responsible for the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. The 6-3 ruling reversed a federal appeals court decision calling for a new penalty phase trial. The main issue was whether the jury should have heard more evidence of his brother's control over him. The Biden administration has currently paused federal executions for a Justice Department review. An artist captures the image of a stranger she met on the street.
Breathing life into her craft, one stroke at a time. Join this local sculptor on her journey as she sought to find the man who inspired her piece.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. A local artist found inspiration within the Gainesville community, and 2 years later, a conversation with a photograph turned into a sculpture.
WUFT's Samantha Narson shows how a piece of stoneware white clay represents a lot more than the sculptor realized.
Brooke Madsen views each day as a canvas.
To start and see where we go.
To create,
I can add on the top, or I can pull these out.
Every detail that follows is meticulously placed. Every spot, wrinkle, and curve is its own story, whether part of her own or one she's helping tell.
People love to see, I have those lines. I make that goofy face when I laugh, and I think people can connect with them.
Her kids admire her work.
She has a very happy energy.
And even follow in her footsteps.
It's so far out of the realm of what I understand so far that I think eventually I'll do it.
After years of molding faces that she imagined and some she knew, she formed a goal to sculpt the diverse faces of Gainesville, ones she didn't know. As Madsen walked the streets, one in particular stood out. The face was attached to a man.
I think she just saw him, and she thought he was really interesting looking.
He had a walker, and he was very thin in his t-shirt.
James.
I told him who I was and that I wanted to sculpt him, so can I take your picture? And so I was asking him, could you just lean back and put your face up into the sun?
Instantly captivated by the kind soul.
He was clearly didn't have a home. I just started asking him questions. So I was taking his picture, and he started to cry. Shoot, I don't want to say too much, but he started to cry. And I said, what's going on? And he said, I just you wanted to see me and know, you wanted to know things about me, and I didn't do anything. I was just standing here. And he felt seen.
A brief interaction changed Madsen's view of life as she held onto his photo for over a year. The fibers of his being were soon molded into stoneware white clay, finished with acrylic washes. The finished product sat in her home, just waiting to be seen by its muse.
The way that he was so tickled that I even wanted to take his picture, I feel he would just be so honored to see it.
After a long process of searching, Madsen's hope for a reunion seemed out of reach.
I haven't been able to find him since. It was a beautiful, I felt making it, I felt this tenderness for him.
After my own 4-month-long search for James,
Posts on Gainesville community platforms concluded that James died around July 2021. His death was confirmed by a family member and a death report from the Office of the Medical Examiner, Florida District 8. Comments on the post flooded with memories and interactions shared with James, a face immediately known by many. The inspiration for Madsen's piece, a face she pictured day after day, no longer seemed to be here. Madsen captured the essence of his being without ever realizing she was memorializing him.
I guess I felt a sense of loss in that he never got to see it, but it was definitely an immediate relief for him.
Madsen used her artistic touch to make sure this face of Gainesville, James, and his legacy live on through her work, one stroke at a time. Samantha Narson, WUFT News.
What an incredible story.
That was a beautiful story, and the weather today is almost as beautiful. Let's give it to Zoey.
Patchy dense fog possible overnight. More on that and the forecast for the rest of the week coming up after the break.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Welcome back. It's another great Friday here in North Central Florida. We've had fantastic weather, clear skies, temperatures sitting in the low 80s. It's a perfect day, and that's mainly in part of this dry air mass sitting over the state of Florida, and that's attributing to low cloud coverage and basically no rain across almost the entire southeast. Georgia looking pretty dry, as well as Alabama and here in Florida as well. And this weather will continue through the next couple of days, but for right now, temperatures sitting in the mid 80s across our area. A little cooler along the first coast, only 70 in St. Augustine, but for the rest of us, a little bit warmer. We'll cool down as we head throughout the rest of the evening. Clouds building in overnight, temperatures dropping into the low 50s overnight as well. Here in Alachua County, sitting at about 53, 54 degrees for most parts of our area. Down in Marion County, similar, the villages though could sit in the mid to upper 50s possible. We do though have a chance for patchy dense fog as we head into the overnight hours and into the late morning, mainly west and towards the St. Johns River. So if you're headed out early in the morning, just be mindful if you're going for a late drive, possibly leaving for spring break students. But this weekend it'll be sunny and warm here in Gainesville. Gorgeous conditions, temperatures about 84 and 86 Saturday and Sunday. No rain really expected over the next couple of days. Jacksonville could get a spotty shower, but overall we are looking good in terms of rain, but unfortunately we actually could need it as almost the entire state of Florida is under some sort of drought level. Here in North Central Florida, the majority of us experiencing a moderate drought in those darker orange brownish colors, and then the yellow signifying abnormally dry conditions in Central Florida and along the first coast. So we're definitely in need of rain, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we're getting rain anytime soon, at least for the next 3 days. Temperatures sitting in the upper 80s during the afternoon. Gorgeous skies, plenty of sunshine. Lows sitting in about the low 50s to low 60s as we head throughout the next work week. And then take a look, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, that's when we could get a shot for some rain, but nothing to really decrease those drought levels. We really need some heavy rain. So hopefully that'll come on Thursday as our next cold front could be approaching. Back to sports for the latest.
Thanks, Zoe, for that update. Kiki Smith's time on the court with the Gators has come to an abrupt end. We'll tell you how the team is doing without her. Sports is next.
You're watching WUFT TV News.
Coming up in sports, see why Kiki Smith's time on the court with the Gators has unfortunately come to an end. Welcome back. I'm Peggy Cosgrove with sports. UF women's basketball advanced to the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament by defeating Vanderbilt yesterday afternoon. The Gators only led the last 8 seconds for a 53-52 win. Star point guard and leading scorer Kiki Smith went out late in the game due to a knee injury. Without her, the Gators lost to Ole Miss today in a game that just ended in Nashville. Head coach Kelly Ray Finley was emotional during yesterday's post-game interview.
you know, she doesn't react like that. She's not she's tough. She's really tough. And so, you know, it's probably serious if she's going to be taken out of the game at that juncture of the game. And so we looked each other in the eye. Like Nina said, we focused on what's next. And that game was the resiliency that she's led us with all season long.
In today's matchup with Ole Miss, the Gators only scored 25 points in the first half and ended up losing 70-60. Gator men's basketball finish up their regular season and salute their seniors as they take on the number 7 Kentucky Wildcats in the O-Dome tomorrow. The Gators are currently 19-11 overall, riding a 2-game winning streak after defeating Vanderbilt Tuesday. In the Gators' last matchup with Kentucky, the Wildcats defeated Florida 78-57. Tip-off is scheduled for 2 p.m. on Saturday. In gymnastics, the number 3 ranked Gators leave the swamp and travel to take on the Auburn Tigers tonight in hopes of remaining undefeated. With 10 straight wins, Florida keeps the top spot in the SEC rankings. In last week's senior night meet against Oklahoma, Trinity Thomas won a share of every event title, earning her SEC Gymnast of the Week. Florida takes the mat tonight at 8 p.m. The 14th ranked Gator baseball team heads to Coral Gables, Florida to take on the Miami Hurricanes in a 3-game series. Florida hopes to win this sold-out series after dropping it at home last year. Head coach Kevin O'Sullivan said that Friday's pitching matchup between Florida's Hunter Barco and Miami's Carson Palmquist will be a fun one to watch.
I had Palmquist this summer with the USA team, and I mean, that's about as good a matchup as you're going to get in college baseball on Friday night with Barco and Palmquist. So it should be fun.
First pitch is set for 7 p.m. with the call on WRUF radio. And that's your look at sports.
Our reporter tell us what we can expect with the Batman movie without giving away any spoilers.
My name is Ariana Psarakos and welcome back to Entertainment News. Today, I'm gonna fill you in on the Billboard Women in Music Awards and the new Batman movie premiere. Global sensation Olivia Rodrigo was presented with the Woman of the Year award. Rapper Saweetie received the Game Changer award, while R&B singer Summer Walker was honored with the Chartbreaker award. Walker's Still Over It album was the biggest R&B album debut by a female artist ever on Apple Music. It will not be the Billboard Women in Music Awards without some live performances. Rodrigo shared the stage with Walker, Doja Cat, and Karol G. The new Batman premieres in theaters today, starring Robert Pattinson. The former Twilight heartthrob stars alongside the incredible Zoe Kravitz. Pattinson revealed that he only had 3 months before the movie started. In order to get in shape for the role, he was working out before and after work all the time. The anticipated movie grossed $5.3 million from early overseas play. The new film is expected to make $100 to $125 million its opening weekend in the U.S. I'm Ariana Psarakos, and that wraps up today's dose of entertainment news.
Thank you, Ariana. Now, before we go, one last check on the weather.
Sunny and warm conditions not only this weekend, but through the rest of the week. Warm and calm, and that's because of high pressure dominating mid-levels of our atmosphere. And with that temperature skyrocketing into the mid-80s all the way through Wednesday and even Thursday, not a chance for rain up until Tuesday, with increasing chances on Thursday. We're in need of the rain, and I'm hoping that it comes soon. But before that, a great week of weather. Back to you.
Thanks, Zoe. BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.